Who do we want? OSMcast. Who do we need? OSMcast. Whoa.
You already did
that.
Can you do a Who Do We Love so I can fit it across the entire song?
Who do we love? Seishun Khan. Who do we need? Chainsaw Buffet. It doesn't really work. It's way too long a name.
I'll just cut it and we'll fix it in post. That's what we'll do.
Too many syllables.
Who do we want? A few or less syllables.
Who do we want? A brand new name. Who do we need? A brand new name.
Because we've joked about that.
I don't know.
We'll call
Fuel the rocket ship with the rocket fuel. Fill it with the power of the OSMcast.
I'll only agree to rename it the Basil Cast. There, I said it. The Basil Nico Cast.
Starring Dylan.
Starring Dylan. And Dylan will be the only podcaster.
The Habercast.
The Haber of my heart cast.
Well, special guest,
There was time.
There was time.
Starring Dylan, also Charlie, featuring John.
Yes.
Like it's how that works. And you are the last ones. You're the most important.
Right.
Yeah, and the Basil and the Basil experience.
Yeah.
And the small yets.
The silent fact checker. So we're talking about Geek Media Expo.
Another fucking convention.
Because that's what we do.
We talk about conventions. We're the Chainsaw Buffet convention cast.
We're justifying our press badges.
That's a fact.
Well, I've used it this kind of bit, so might as well justify it.
Welcome to paying the bills.
We pay what? There's bills.
Bills?
There's money?
Sure, why not?
There's no money in this unless you're, one of the other people interviewed. You know what? Screw those guys. Screw those guys for being successful.
What?
So,
unless you're Chris Hardwick, you're not making money at this.
Geek Media Expo, Nashville, or more Franklin, I guess.
On paper, or Franklin, Tennessee. Yes.
The land of horses.
This place is a serious horse fetish. We are not lying.
You know what? Needed more horses.
Well, you can always use more horses.
I saw a few spaces that were lacking in
horses.
True.
I'm looking at a couple portraits right now. Could use a horse.
Well, a lot of people don't realize is that if you look at the Cool Springs of Marriott from the view of a helicopter, it's actually in the shape of a horse head. A lot of people don't know that.
I was really surprised that they had as many parking spots as they did, and not a single hitching post.
It's weird.
That was poor planning, I think.
Yeah,
someone needs to go on the GMX forums and complain. Because things like this need to be heard.
Someone going online and complaining?
No.
I know. Crazy. Speaking of... Alright. Good idea, bad idea. Good idea. Using guidebook. Bad idea. Only using guidebook.
Yeah, it's ironic because Dylan's smartphone is not working at present.
It died a week or two before the convention.
So I was, of the three of us that were here, I was the only motherfucker with a smartphone. So I felt like I controlled the narrative of GMX Volume 4.
You could still jump on Wi-Fi and get. One of the nice things they did was the convention apparently gave us complimentary Wi-Fi or the hotel.
Nico looks confused. I'm pretty sure we may have stolen Wi-Fi from the hotel.
Anyways, what Guidebook is, it's this really awesome app that you can download to your smartphone that you can download if a convention uses it.
Or tablet.
You can download their entire schedule.
Or other mobile device, whatever that means.
You can make, those don't exist. It's either Android, iOS. If you're lucky, maybe Windows Phone. Anyways, and no one likes Blackberries.
Lucky.
You can download a schedule. You can actually make your own schedule. It'll keep you updated. It's a really nice app. Unfortunately, GMX decided at the last moment to only use the app and not print actual paper schedules. That is not the greatest of ideas one can have.
Yeah, even in this day of age, not everyone has a smartphone or necessarily wants to lug around their other mobile device.
There's a not so subtle underlying message behind this. You have a smartphone. You're not fucking geek enough to be here. You need to turn around and take that shit back home.
Well, I don't know that there was a message. I don't know if this is just a test.
It's a message. It's a message.
It is class warfare. GMX is launching a
Occupy
against poor
GMX.
nerds.
GMX is the 1%.
Smartphones. Obviously, that's what's happening.
Or the 47%.
Yeah, the 47% just come here and they get in free. I'm waving around my press badge, and they don't.
Binder's full of press passes.
Binder's full of press badges.
But I mean, I love the idea of guidebook. I really do. I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
It's just you need a paper backup.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes, for example, what I like to do is I like to get the actual paper thing, look through it, and then go through guidebook and actually, I like seeing both. And there are many times where my phone is a smartphone. Smartphones die decently quickly, especially if you're keeping the Wi-Fi on, or the 3G or 4G, especially 4G, to download those updates. Your phone is not going to last the whole day. But that piece of paper lasts
a lifetime.
2 words: Juice Defender.
Doesn't defend enough.
Okay.
Does not defend enough.
But I think we were talking about this last night. And I can't remember which of you suggested it, but maybe if they just charge a little extra, if it truly was.
That was Charlie's idea of
I just said I would give somebody $0.25 for a paper.
I said a PDF or something, and say in advance, say, hey, I'm not gonna have paper schedules. Print this shit off. We told you so. Otherwise,
Well, now the choice of guidebook in Google Docs actually makes a lot more sense in one sense than a PDF, in that it's really easy to update it automatically. People are going to keep going back, but yeah, it's just not as convenient to print out.
I get that paper costs money and that, but that's just, I think it's one of those things that you need to have. I really do.
Along with Chance of Buffet and OSMcast on your guest list, I think you need to have that. Because we don't sell a single ticket, not at all. But we can fill out the roster. Anyway.
Yeah, we are a money losing machine.
Yes. If you're looking to downsize your convention, if it's too big for you to handle, or you don't have anywhere else to go, and you're looking at capping your attendance, just invite us.
I really like the idea that we're specialists that conventions bring in when they need to lose some attendance. We need to downsize this convention. We can find another place.
Are the YMCA of convention guests. We're the ones that tell everybody to just get the hell out.
We also dress in goofy costumes of various professions, and we sing songs while dancing. It's pretty great. Once you see us dancing, that's usually when the real big attendance starts to drop.
Yeah. We are all dressed as podcasters, though. We didn't decide to do different jobs.
Coming in 2013, GMX Volume 5, it's going to be Chainsaw Buffet and OSMcast present Red Light Podcasting. Where we all...
Risque podcast.
No. We're just going to podcast, but there's red lights everywhere.
Yeah. And they'll blink, and they'll cause seizures.
And we'll start taking off our clothes very slowly during the course of a podcast.
And by that, we mean, we'll take off our shirt, it's kind of warm. It gets kind of cold, so we'll put the shirt back on.
Yeah.
But
it will be featuring Denzel. So.
Yes.
We can only hope.
But it's going to be Kevin in an afro wig.
Yeah.
Well, just call me Denzel.
Is
it weird that I already call Kevin Denzel and have been for some time?
Not really. I can sort of see the resemblance, although he doesn't really work out. Not like Denzel did.
And I've never really found Jesus.
You're not really Denzel. That's why.
You're not looking very, very hard.
He's everywhere.
Maybe if I started stripping, I'd find Jesus. Apparently that works.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a complaint, GMX has been really fun. I do not want you to think.
Just get our main complaint out of the way.
Yeah.
It's been a good time. I love what they did with the badges.
Oh, yeah,
the badges are these neat little circles, and it makes sense because MTAC has always had a history of actual pin badges, which is pretty unique to MTAC. And I could still see how can we use that same idea for GMX but make it different, a little cooler? And I really think their little circle laminated badges really do well for that.
It's also very helpful as opposed to a convention like MMA Week in Atlanta where they have printed badges for everybody and it has everybody's name on them. And, a lot of that's to protect people from switching, even though you never ever check anyone's IDs at a convention. It just makes registration a lot simpler and smoother.
Yeah, I don't know about people who actually paid at the door, but it was really easy for us to pick up press badges.
Yeah.
It was...
Which certainly the 80 Boy couldn't do.
Yeah.
Which I know they're working on it, but man, oof.
Yeah, anyway, picking up the badges is always the wacky part there.
GMX is always really neat because I don't really do that many not anime conventions. And I feel that GMX really is a lot of the neat stuff that you would see at a Dragon Con, but not nearly as many people. So it's way more manageable.
I had the exact same thought.
Can I point out something that's really weird here? While I've seen a couple of them, I've not seen nearly as much Homestuck or Slenderman crap here as I have at AWA.
I mean, they have these Slenderman crap here. They're the Marble Hornets guys.
I know, but I didn't see as many of them, like, walking around dressed.
To be fair, they're actually one of the good ones.
So
but
you're not getting the same sample, but it does seem to be older.
I've seen, maybe not as much as that anime conventions, but there are schools of Homestuck cosplayers moving around with each other at the con. But there's not as many
schools.
Yeah, like
there should be sharks at the convention that thin out those schools.
Observe them in the wild.
There should be. As soon as we figure out the natural predator of the Homestuck cosplayer.
No. Majestic and Homestuck do not go together.
That is the problem with Homestuck cosplayers. They have no natural predators.
Yes, so we need a predator for the Homestuck cosplayers.
I think there needs to be like a nerd food chain where, like the Homestuck people get
devoured
by the Marble Hornets, people that get devoured by, like the Whedonverse people that get devoured by Star Wars and Star Trek.
And then Narutards are like the krill.
They're the very
bottom. Naruto is better than Homestuck. We've decided this.
But the problem is Naruto.
My worry is that Homestuck's really just the tribbles. Like, there's only one or two. Next thing you know, they just keep growing and there'll be nothing left.
Yeah, they just reproduce parthenogenically many, many times within a day.
Coming soon, we're going to change our name from Chainsaw Buffet to the Homestuck Cast and never talk about Homestuck. But we're going to get some listeners.
That would work. You get people complaining, you need more Homestuck. And you can just ignore them. And they still tune in because it says the Homestuck Cast.
Yep.
No, it's because we're in our home and we're stuck. We have nothing else to do.
We're under house arrest. I have an anklet. I can't leave.
The probation officer is not letting me leave the state. So,
So I see, because the only, respectable one of us is Charlie here with his little notepad. What are some of the notes that you've taken over the course of this weekend?
I mean, just the basic stuff that I've done, which isn't a whole lot. Has been like the Rob Paulson, Billy West Q&A.
That was pretty amazing.
Except that it was an endless stream of they phrased it a little differently, but every single person was, "How can I be you?"
It was the dick riding panel.
Well, they alternated. The first person was like, how are you funny or awesome? The second person was, how can I be you? The third person was, how are you awesome? The fourth person was, how can I be you?
The fifth person was, if I drink your blood, can I gain your power?
To be fair, they both riffed on a lot of different things, and both of them, especially
the panel was interesting because of
the panel. They both brilliantly turned those questions into actually telling us things that were fun to hear.
Yeah, I mean, they handled it really.
We don't go to anime Q&A panels anymore, specifically because that maybe I was being naive, hoping,
and because we do a lot of interviews.
Yeah, maybe I was being naive and hoping that these aren't anime voice actors, so maybe we won't get those kind of questions. Oh no, that's the only questions that's good. Okay, so it's actually worse because that's the only question you get.
I'm kind of fortunate that we didn't get a say the line from stuff.
Yeah. Though they seemed way more happy to do it.
Yeah, they slipped in and out of various characters.
I think they were cutting it off at the pass. I think they knew what was coming.
Well, that, and I'll realize, again, these guys, they all have, their comics, or they're funny guys.
Yeah.
They're comedians. And a lot of the shows they do are comedies. And so, and they prize themselves, and they get their money, they get their jobs because they can make these awesome, goofy voices.
And these voices they do and the characters they play are just really part of their routine.
You do make a really good point, though, in that it seems like, in my experience, that more anime voice actors come from an acting background and then slipped into voice acting. And then a lot of the American voice actors seem to be a little more like they came from a improv or comedy background,
sometimes
and then
singing.
Into voice acting. Yeah, well, so that's why. Yeah. Maybe they just are more.
I think that's what Rob talked about. Like him and a lot of the Western animation voice actors are union voice actors. And most anime voice actors are non-union work
because there's no actual money in anime.
No.
And there's much more money in actual cartoons.
Yeah.
Is a sad truth.
And
also,
there are some lovely...
You don't get paid for Bitcoin.
Japan's concept of comedy is way weirder.
Yeah.
Like it's a really foreign Japanese thing, and it does not translate very well to our English-speaking American sensibilities to what comedy is.
You watch enough anime, you kind of get used to it, and maybe even starts being funny. And there are some anime shows that are universally funny, no matter who you are. But
a lot of it is super heavy reference or pun-based, and a lot of times the puns are screwing with the Japanese words of meanings and things, which you can't translate.
Unless you just have a very brilliant scriptwriter.
It would be a lot like taking Family Guy and taking that to the Japanese market, which I'm sure they do. But
I think they have.
It's like, okay, I don't know what any of these references mean or who these people are.
But because of that, and so many of the cartoon shows we get are comedies or have a lot of humor in them, I think it naturally will draw more from the comic side, the comedian side, than you would just the purely acting side, which is, I think, what more anime tries to draw from. And also because the cartoons are made in the U.S., a lot of them are made in L.A., and that's where all the big time, if you want to really get into acting, whether it's voice acting or not, or regular, or normal acting.
Almost any kind of professional showbiz career, in fact.
And so, I think you just have more of a bigger pool to draw from.
It's two different pools. It's two different pools of actors, no matter...
But really, when Rob Paulson did Yakko's song, where with the guy,
Yakko's World,
Yakko's World,
with the guy dressed up as Yakko,
and they did it together as a duet.
It was
and
glorious.
They did it very well.
Just that kid will never ever forget that in his life.
No,
that is where he story gets to tell his grandkids.
It was heartwarming. I
got to you hear this song? Yeah, it's pretty cool, Granddad. Well, guess who sing it with the guy who did it? And I was just the cartoon character. Oh my god!
You're weird. I'm gonna go to football practice.
That has got to be one of the best.
Nerd.
Duh. But
that has got to be one of the best stories that will probably come out of
of
what happened to people at GMX.
But it was it was one person who asked for it, not like 100 people. Like, can you do this line? Oh, I love this character.
Well, no, it was a case of he was actually talking to the guy before the panel started. He was like, "Hey,
exactly.
I know all the words of the song," and he's like, "Get up here. We're gonna do the song right now." Yeah, I don't care if I push that spout. We can do this for like 2 minutes. It'll be cool.
The fact that Rob Paulson still remembers that song.
Yeah.
Because that is a crazy complicated song.
Yes, it is the United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, that one. And it's like every single country on Earth in rapid succession.
It's like every single country on Earth in,
Well, when they made Animaniacs, the map has changed a little since then.
Yeah,
but
I think it might be a tad dated. But
it's still awesome.
Yes.
So what else did people do?
We saw male strippers.
We did see male strippers.
Risque cosplay, yeah.
We did see a couple female strippers. And it's sad we remember the male strippers more.
Well, it was a risque cosplay, which means that none of these people were actual professionals. It was, adult kids,
who wanted attention by taking off their clothes.
Yeah. No, that works. Adult kids. I mean, I don't know. They're real.
I'm an adult kid.
We're all. Well, I don't know about all of us. Charlie's pretty responsible, but
that's an outright lie.
It was interesting. It reminded me why I don't go to cosplay contests.
Yeah, it's been I don't know how many years since we.
The plus side was that it was a short cosplay contest.
It was scheduled for 2 hours and it lasted like.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. They only had 4 or 5. Contestants?
4 actual contestants, and they had a ringer.
Yeah.
Because the 4th contestant decided to add in a skit. And skits and cosplay do not mix. I don't care what
skits
you do.
Skits and cosplay are the devil. Dave Merrill.
It would have only been 20 minutes if the couple that came on before the ringer hadn't done their thing to an 8-minute Avenged Sevenfold song.
Yeah, which
is a great song, but that was awkward as hell to see those two.
That really dragged. Nobody was taking off enough clothes, and it was boring. And then they slipped in a ringer.
They just wanted to make out, but they couldn't quite do it. So
yeah,
it was awkward, and that's coming from a guy who's sitting there at a place where strangers are taking off their clothes. Enough to be compelling, but not enough to actually, make me, want to clap. But
then they threw in DENZELS.
Unless you're a brony, then you want to clop. Yeah.
That's bad.
But once they threw in Denzel, everything was fine.
Oh, yeah.
Denzel was amazing.
Denzel was amazing. He was.
He found Jesus. Oh my goodness, he found Jesus.
That is my favorite line from the entire convention.
When
Is
Denzel
Basil
found
leaning over and go,
Jesus.
"Oh shit, he found Jesus."
All right, Denzel. He's part of this burlesque troupe, and he came in out of nowhere as like suddenly we have another contestant, and he put on
challenger appears.
Yeah, like and he puts on
Denzel appears.
a good show. Like he knew what he was doing. And at some point, he's raising his arms to the sky, and my brain immediately goes, "Oh shit, he found Jesus." He's looking up into the sky, he found Jesus.
I lost it. I so lost. And after it was over, I was still laughing. I'm sure people were thinking, "What the hell? There's nothing funny about Denzel. He's serious."
But we needed Denzel, though.
We weren't making fun of him per se.
He personally turned what would have been a bad memory walking out the door had he not been there to like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a wasted
great.
evening, except for Denzel.
Hearing you people talk about it, the whole thing, it just sounds some
amazing.
form of legendary. It just sounds so insane. And
Denzel is legendary.
Legendary.
He is now, anyway.
The legend of Denzel.
The man planned ahead. He had 2 pairs of boxers.
He did.
Yeah.
So he undid 1 boxers and still had more behind. And I mean behind.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was he obviously knew what he was doing.
And I'm sad that our good friend Phil didn't come up and do stripping the Gangnam Style. I'm really sad for that because he was dressed as Psy the whole weekend. So
that is a thing.
Let's have one place where the Gangnam Style parodies cannot.
No, this place had it too.
I'll screw it.
I heard it several times. People were playing it.
It's
people were
everywhere.
doing the dance outs. And let's face it, the dance is the horsey dance. Have
Yeah.
you been in this hotel? Have you
It's
seen
full of
so many
horses.
horses?
This may be the most appropriate place.
This should have been the
I think
Gangnam
that
Style
that-
Media Expo.
we should have had Psy here.
I mean, I was in
Gangnam Media Expo. That's
He'll probably
I
start
like it.
doing conventions in a couple of years.
after he stopped being popular.
I know there are a lot of people that say, "Oh, this is terrible. This needs to stop." I'm going to speak up in defense of Psy and say, you know what? If you heard Taylor Swift, that shit's awful. I would rather take even. I don't know what the words mean. I don't speak Korean, but even if they're terrible, even if they're just the most tried, Black Eyed Peas level, what you gonna do with all that junk? Took me 5 minutes to write this. I'm making millions of dollars off of it. Crap. It's still better because I don't understand what it is. I can't hear the words.
That's
wanna
actually
know?
kind of funny because it's actually satire.
It is a satire on the rich and well-to-do of Korea and the people trying to live like they're rich and well-to-do and who can't afford it.
So it's actually kind of a smart song if you know the words.
We think.
In theory.
So,
People tell us.
Basil doesn't know Korean either. He just came up with this theory that that's what it must
No,
be.
I've seen that before.
So-
Oh
no
yeah, no,
matter-
it's totally Wikipedia. It's true.
Now, like, Gangnam is like the richest district in Korea or something like that. I'm probably wrong and shooting myself in the foot. And so
I'm still waiting for Crispy Crunch to get really big over here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm waiting for the Korean invasion. The 60s
Yeah.
were the British invasion.
Well,
the
Psy,
teens will be
Yeah.
the
Gangnam
K-vasion.
Style's on the radio.
Yeah.
It may be here.
I hope the entire
Well, no, the
decade
trick
is
is-
defined by Korean pop and rock.
If you can get a second song on the radio,
Yeah.
then that's something. Right now, it's just the one. Anyways, we're not talking about Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Geek Medias and Expos.
This is geeky media, but not an expo.
One of the things that I think this may have been the first year they did it, was they got robot battles here. That was freaking awesome.
Was it? Tell us
Yeah.
all about it.
I'm sorry.
I
missed
wish
that.
I wish I'd caught all of it. I came in kind of late, unfortunately, because I think I slept in. But and the stage they had, or the arena they had, was only big enough to do. I think it was the Ant and Beetle way. They couldn't get to like the big 30-pound robots.
yeah, the big bad Beetlezord.
Exactly, and but no, it was a lot of fun. It is because I used to, when I went to Dragon Con, I would watch robot battles, and they would do the big 30-pound ones, so it would be nice to see those. But those little ones, the way they're, I mean, and granted, a lot of the robot styles are the same as they were, 10 or however many years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever they first started doing robot battle type stuff. I mean, there's only so many basic concepts, pretty much. But man, some of those things were just insanely like, oh, if there weren't like bulletproof glass encasing this arena, somebody would have been decapitated. There was a robot called, I think it was DDT. I can't remember which team built it, but and I can only imagine it was designed to do this because it kept doing it unprovoked. It had a spinning blade on the front of it, more or less, and it would basically set itself up to use the blade to knock itself all over the arena. Like, it was hitting the glass sides, it was hitting the top of the arena, and it was just bouncing around. But otherwise, it was just this little blade, this little box, and 2 wheels. But they were able to make it do that. And there were like sparks flying, and the actual championship for one of the weight classes, the winner caught on fire, and that was the winner. And they had to rush it out of the building and spray it down. It was beautiful. And like you guys, I don't go to a lot of conventions now that aren't anime principally.
There aren't a lot around here.
There's some, but
GMX
yeah. Well, there are a few more that are.
There's one going on in Knoxville this weekend that I had no interest in.
But it's really nice to. It's cool to have that sort of variety that you can have something like robot battles, which would never really work at an anime convention, and so I haven't been able to see it since Dragon Con, the last time I was there. So it's been several years.
Although what we did miss was straight out of Comic-Con.
We caught the last few minutes.
It's a stand-up duo, and they did a really good job.
Yeah, the few minutes that I saw of it, I was impressed. I would like to have seen more.
Like, they totally have the right cadence to stand-up comedy. It worked out really well. They did a good job.
They got a chance to catch their full show. We're going to try.
Yeah, definitely. They had the improv group from, is it University of Georgia? The Laugh Out Loud, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing those guys at any convention that I go to. I mean, their lineup was a little different. They had 2 or 3 of the guys that I've generally seen. Though honestly, the one that I hate to say it, find the funniest was not here. But they had a bunch of the guys that I just think are hilarious, and I got to see one of their, or 1.5 of their performances. And I love seeing them at every convention I've been to. I always get the impression that you know they're even though it's a college club that they take it seriously. You know, that they're really trying. They're not half-assing it, so I really appreciate what they do.
Now, sadly, Saturday morning was kind of a low point because we stayed up kind of late and I slept in. And I look at my phone, I wake up, and Dylan says, "Hey, there's interview slots open." And I'm like, I respond, "Sweet, they're all full now."
Yep. Because by the time...
It was an hour later when I woke up after when he sent me. By that time, it was all filled up.
They kind of trickled in, Friday night and Saturday morning. So
we had a man station here, for as things popped up.
We had a man station.
Yeah,
we had a guy on the inside.
Yeah, we did. Dylan was our guy on the inside.
Volunteered, so I didn't do as much of the panels.
One of the panels I went to that stuck with me was Robert J. Schwab's panel. It was a DMing panel. Beverage. He wrote several books for Wizards of the Coast for D&D 4th edition. I think 3rd edition as well, but I don't.
I'm sorry I missed that from what you were telling me.
But he wrote some of my favorite 4th edition books, and as anyone, we don't talk about D&D nearly enough on the podcast, but he's heard me talk about it.
Do you actually like 4th edition?
I love 4th edition. I'm its biggest defender.
That's actually not true. I know the guy who's probably as big defender as you are, but keep going.
You should form a team.
You should.
But that mostly has to do with the fact that
come to HammerCon, I'll introduce you.
Yeah, I didn't start with like 1st or 2nd edition or D&D or anything like that. I started with 3rd edition. And started, like most of the games I played, I like playing D&D far more than I like DMing for a lot of reasons, because I come up with a lot of character concepts that I really enjoy. I don't know that they're necessarily, I hate to go on a limb and say that they're good character concepts, but they're ones that I enjoy and they're things I enjoy playing. But usually, whenever we run stuff, because it's easier to do so, DMs always want to start at a really low level, and a lot of the other people that I play with want to start at a low level because they're lazy and they don't want to roll up like this 14th level character and have to go through the whole process.
It's because I actually enjoy playing a low-level character, not like someone.
But in third edition, I despise that more than life itself because there's a vast majority of classes in third edition that level 1, level 2, until you get to level
5 or so.
That's true.
They're
the
completely
useless.
useless.
More about having utility skills
and I like to be able to do something in combat and out of combat, and I think that across the board on all the classes, 4th edition does a far better job of that.
Agreed. And going back, and I do go back to D&D, AD&D, and 2nd edition AD&D. And that's it. I don't know that it was ever any better. Like 4th edition in that respect was a huge improvement over any of the previous editions, I would say.
And one of the problems I find people have with 4th edition when I talk to them about it, it's usually stuff that can be creatively worked around. They're like, it condenses too many things. You can come up with stuff. You can work with it. It's meant for you to pick and choose what rules you want, and it's a framework. It's not a law book.
I think Dungeons & Dragons should bring back THACO for 5th edition.
They should bring back Illustrate, but that's...
THACO is my litmus test. If you mention THACO, then you can tell how long someone's been a gamer and how much into it they were.
I think instead of using THACO as a mechanic, they should have THACO as a deity.
I did once for a 3rd edition game introduce THACO goblins. They kept just chanting a number. They're like 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, and the big one in the back would be 5. And you're very nerdy if you understand what we're talking about.
THACO is like the Iran-Car in Bleach. The lower the number, the more powerful they are.
I would say golf scores, but sure, that works.
No, I think you just explained Bleach.
I
think you just...
It's their THACO score.
There's a Japanese guy sitting at Taco Bell playing D&D, and he's like, I got an idea.
They're probably still playing 2nd edition or a game that's a ripoff of 2nd edition.
We're going to go to Burrito Grande and fight the wrong card number 1.
We're going to go to Doritos Locos Tacos.
So anyway, D&D panel.
But... Yeah, we that's okay.
Tangents, we have them.
We took a very circuitous route. R.J. Schwab wrote the Forgotten Realms Player's Guide and Players, which introduced the Sword Mage, and Player's Handbook 3, which introduced Sonics. And anyone who knows me in D&D knows I love swords and sorcery combined at the same time. But he had this panel about DMing, and he brought some really interesting points. He crafted the panel. I came in about halfway through, but he crafted it in such a way that it was like he was talking about a game that he was running and how he was doing it, and he was putting down situations. He was like, okay, so in the game I'm running right now, the party is coming back from a dungeon, and it's basically starting a new arc in that campaign. And he's like, so what are some things that we can do? And he was really just brainstorming with everybody and getting them thinking about the process of getting the players involved and things that they could do. The real unfortunate part about this is that it was a panel about DMing for DMs, which meant that you had a lot of dungeon masters in there who were all assholes and all that guy. So that was my one, regret about that panel. I really wish that we had the opportunity to interview them, to interview Robert Schwab, because I think he would have had some very interesting things to say.
Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll bring him back.
Speaking of interesting panels, there was the Sephiroth.
The Kabbalah panel.
It was great.
Oh, they brought him up.
The girl who ran it,
she knew what she was talking about as best as anyone can who's not actually heavily involved in Kabbalah, which you have to be a 40-year-old Jewish male at least.
So she had a couple strikes against her, but she was making do.
She pulled it off. She made it work.
She had a pop culture, media, literature that, and what were these things and how they show up, and it was somewhat intellectual and fairly informative.
It was good. Dealer's room was neat. It wasn't the most gargantuan dealer's room I've been in, but it
had variety.
It had a lot of variety.
To me, it showed that they make an effort to try to have a little bit of everything.
It had a HAP joystick hooked up to a Dreamcast running Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I was happy with that.
And there was a virtual
It was better than the game room.
I poked my head in the game room. Nothing that really... I'm not normally a game room person, though, so nothing that really wowed me or made me go, oh, I gotta stop and play this. Not like whatever that beat game is that that is occasionally brought to Hamicon.
It is always sad to see NES is plugged into HD TVs.
Yeah, because your aspect ratio is... That is... I'm going to go on my rant now. I have a couple of complaints about the game room. I didn't find out that there were tournaments. I asked the GMX Twitter, and this is not the GMX Twitter person's fault, whoever was responsible for that. I think they've done a very good job of being attentive to the feed and responding to people's questions and concerns. So whoever runs that, thumbs up. I greatly appreciate you. But, I didn't find out until I was already here that there were even going to be tournaments, because there was nothing about it on the site, nothing about it on the schedule. And, as people should know by now, I usually bring my joystick and enter, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or whatever is going on. But apparently there were tournaments, but I didn't have my joystick with me. And in truth, we were so busy doing interviews and stuff for the podcast, I may not have even been able to enter. But it was just the fact that I didn't know until I was already here. And as Basil alluded to, talking about NESs hooked up to HD TVs, all the TVs were HD TVs. And if you're a big enough nerd about these things like I am, there are proper TVs for proper type of games. And fighting games, because of the timing and precision involved, HD TVs, for those who may not be aware, especially fighting games, you get a lot of input lag. Things don't quite happen as fast as they do in actuality because of delays in the connection from the console to the TV. So fighting games, ideally in tournament settings, are either played on CRT TVs because there's no lag in that connection, or on specific monitors that have little to no lag, like the Asus, I think, is a 236T is what they use at Evo, but they were all on HD TVs. Everything was on HD TV, and they had fighting games and they had Nintendo games, and it just...
I mean, it was neat to see, but it was obviously, this was probably... Whoever ran it was not their first priority to do this game room up right. But, I mean, people were going in, people were playing games, they were having fun.
And a DDR machine.
And that's what's really important.
Yeah, agreed.
And it had better dance music than the dance that was going on when we walked into the room.
That fantasy ball.
There is no party like a fat white guy dance party.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
Yeah, in all fairness, what I'm saying is it's very nitpicky stuff. I mean, the standard con goer who just walks in there and play games is going to be fun.
The reason why... We've got the 15-minute sign. So,
fantastic.
So I don't want it to be like, roar, GMX. Because I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Another really good panel I got to go to was the beer panel, the Getting Nerdy panel.
Oh, yes. I had beers I liked, and I hate beer.
And it was neat. They did all local, like, Middle Tennessee brews for the whole thing.
If we hadn't been doing an interview, I would have tried to go to that.
Like, they had a pumpkin ale that was brewed with a pumpkin.
That was actually really good.
That was released like 2 days ago.
I decided in retrospect that was really good. I know I said at the time I couldn't decide if I loved it or hated it. I think I loved it.
So that was...
And there was and I went to the Geek journalism panel. That was pretty good. I don't remember the guy that was running it.
It was all podcasters.
He was a bit of an asshole, but I think his heart was probably in the right place. And also got to go to the indie games panel that was put on by a
couple of douchebags
named Dylan and Mike, which was actually, I am not an indie game developer. I have no interest in developing indie games, but it was a really informative panel.
It was really well done, and I'm not just saying that because Dylan's sitting right here. It was interesting, and I am ready to bury indie game development far beneath the earth where it belongs. But that was a really neat panel.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't specifically supposed to be indie game. Like, it could be any sort of games. You don't have to label it. But since we were doing Xbox Live indie games, I was kind of glad that I put the slides together, went over them with Mike. I'm glad Mike actually came to GMX so we could both kind of talk about the development process.
Yeah.
The only issue I had during that panel was when we got in. This was one of the panel rooms that had been segmented off into 3 different rooms during the middle of the day. When we got in there at midnight, like the TV was not set up. It was like half set up, so we had to kind of rush. But I don't know.
Yeah, and you guys had another panel in there right before you, so it wasn't like you had a lot of setup time or anything like that. With Captain Bromerica.
Yeah.
We were waiting for Dylan and Mike's panel, and I'm like, well, what's going on before that? I'm like, Marvel, ABC or A to Z or is some sort of alphabet thing.
Oh, yeah, no, that was before Geek Journalism.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was before Geek Journalism.
I did see this before the Kabbalah panel. There was this apparently like this battles panel where this guy would go. He'd show up an image of like 2 superheroes, and people had to argue who would win.
I kind of wanted to go to that.
It was one of the best lazy panels I've ever seen. It's obviously took him no work. Just found some wallpapers, and he's like, "All right, Nightwing versus Spider-Man, dance, puppets, dance." And people got into it, especially Denzel.
I bet he did.
Like arguing the various merits and problems of how one would beat one, and it was. I'm like, man, this is like nerd one-upmanship on ice. Like,
well, Nightwing's kind of a dick, and Spider-Man's a bro. So as the elevator will teach you, Spider-Man was a bro. He helped me in the elevator.
So, final thoughts, GMX. I had a lot of fun. Like, by and large, most of the panels I went to, I enjoyed. I had a good time. I kind of wish I could have gotten some more interviews in, but
oh well.
Guest relations, unfortunately, it's a really complicated thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the schedule on time, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
I should be up earlier in the morning.
Yeah. I enjoy that. I guess a lot of times I do a lot of the anime cons primarily, but it's nice to go to a con that embraces the other nerdy things I like. Because I'm a Renaissance nerd.
And I had a lot of fun. I think the guest list was really good. The interviews we got with Ellen McLean and Veronica Belmont, Rob Paulson, and Doug Walker, they were all really great people. I mean, there was no I couldn't think of really any elements offhand that I was like, oh, that's just god awful. Hey, Nico, come here. What did you think? Get your ass in here. Final thoughts on GMX.
It was okay.
You heard that?
That's right.
You heard that from the
Shadow Emperor himself.
Yes, from the con chair of GMX himself.
He proclaimed it okay.
From the horse's mouth.
Spoken, thus it shall be.
I will say that I wish there was another day so I could do more stuff.
Yes.
I will say that, overall, there were issues, but, GMX is in year 4. And I think that's important to remember. They're still trying a lot of things out. But overall, I really enjoyed myself this year. And I'm excited to see where they go with this next year, because there's a lot of great potential at this convention.
Oh yeah, this could totally, they could totally blow this up really nice. But a word of warning, MTAC. This is from the past to the future. Paper schedules. Paper schedules.
Ooh. Dylan.
Oh,
Paper
actually,
Kevin.
GMX is shaping up to be one of my favorite conventions of the year. I mean, you get the variety of Dragon Con without
All the things you hate
Without
about
Dragon
insanity
Con.
of Dragon Con.
Yeah, it's like the best of Dragon Con without all the crap.
Actually, like, doing volunteering this year, I kind of almost want to volunteer at the other anime conventions where I have less to do and just, devote a lot of time to this, kind of relax. I don't know.
That was GMX, everybody.
I don't know.
Oh shit, he found Jesus.
But seriously, no, it's a lot of fun. I wish there was another day to do more stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish it did not start. I wish I started earlier on Friday.
Because I would have liked that if it started early on Friday. It was more of a noon to whatever. But also, then again, there was stuff that I wanted to do that I didn't have time for because I was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Like, I really wish I got up in the morning to see those robot battles. Like, I'm really sad I
there
missed
were
that.
some overlapping panels, so there was stuff to do. If you didn't want to do panel A, you go to panel B.
Yeah, they fit. It's amazing how much content they do fit into 48 hours.
I'm sorry I missed the Higgs boson thing. I wanted to hear the actual sciencey panel.
That was really good.
It was really good.
So we've heard. But let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Let's
we're being kicked out.
We
don't have to go home, but we can't
You
stay
can't
here.
stay there.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Dr. Nick.
Thank you, Cleveland. You've been great.